the day my HOA president got a taste of justice. The screaming started at exactly 2:37 p.m. on a sunny Saturday. Not just any scream, a high-pitched wail that could make dogs howl and birds scatter. Through my kitchen window, I watched in awe as thick, brown sludge erupted from the pristine sprinkler system next door, splattering everything with a substance that looked like chocolate pudding but smelled like something you'd scrape off barn floors. Karen Pemberton, president of the Oak Ridge Estates, HOA, stood frozen in horror on her manicured lawn, her white sundress now smeared with reeking goo. Her guests, dressed in pastels for a fancy garden party, scattered in a frenzy, their clothes streaked with what was unmistakably liquefied cow manure. She had no idea that her secret water theft had just triggered my revenge. But let's rewind. My name's Jake Morrison. 6 months ago, I made what I thought was the smartest move of my life. I'd finally save enough to ditch city life and buy a 5-acre slice of heaven on the edge of Oak Ridge Estates. It was technically next to the HOA development, but not part of it. Best part? The land came with its own private well, independence from city water, and total self-sufficiency. The first week was bliss. I set up my home office and started building out a modest homestead, chickens, a vegetable garden, and a composting system that included a tank for turning cow waste into liquid fertilizer. Sustainable, efficient, quiet, just what I wanted. Then she showed up. Karen Pemberton, crisp pantsuit, clipboard, fake smile. She introduced herself as the HOA president and launched into a spiel about community rules, grass height, paint colors, and dues. I politely informed her my property was outside HOA jurisdiction. The smile disappeared. She tried convincing me to voluntarily join, said it was for the good of the neighborhood. I declined again. That's when her demeanor turned icy. You may not be in the HOA, she said, but I'll be watching. And she meant it. The harassment started small. Anonymous complaints about my chickens, letters claiming my wildflower meadow was an eyesore, notes about how my work truck lowered the neighborhood's aesthetic. I ignored it all. Then my water pressure began to drop, randomly and drastically. I checked everything, the pump, the pressure tank, the lines. All fine. That's when I decided to trace the line from the well. 50 feet out, I found it. A crudely spliced PVC pipe branching off my main water line, heading straight to Karen's backyard. She was stealing my water. And not just any water. Asterisk, asterisk, private well water, asterisk, asterisk during a drought. I could have called the police right there. But a better idea hit me. If she wanted my water, she could have it, just not the kind she expected. Asterisk, asterisk. I rigged a bypass valve, allowing me to switch the outgoing supply between clean water and the tank where I stored processed cow manure fertilizer. The consistency was similar. She wouldn't notice the change until it was too late. I watched her routine. Sprinklers ran every other afternoon, typically around 2:30 p.m. Then she posted online about her garden party, roses, lawn, bragging about how lush everything looked despite restrictions. That's when I knew. Friday night, I flipped the valve. Saturday came bright and clear. I set up a camera with a clear view of her lawn. Guests arrived in pastel clothes and expensive sunglasses. Karen floated around like suburban royalty, showing off her yard. At 2:30 sharp, her sprinkler system clicked on. For 10 seconds, everything seemed normal. Then the pipes sputtered and thick, brown sludge sprayed out in all directions. Her lawn turned brown. Her white roses drooped under the weight of fertilizer. A woman in a yellow dress screamed as a jet of sludge nailed her mid-twirl. A man slipped and face-planted in a puddle. The smell? Unholy. Karen stood in the center of the chaos, mouth agape, her once pristine dress now streaked with brown. Processed manure dripped from her designer hairstyle. Her perfect garden party now looked like a manure-themed horror movie. I hit record on my camera and smiled. After the sprinklers shut off, her guests fled, leaving muddy footprints across her driveway. 47 minutes later, Karen pounded on my front door. She was still dripping and smelled like she'd lost a fight with a sewage truck. She screamed about sabotage and lawsuits. I listened calmly, then pulled out my phone and showed her the footage asterisk asterisk of her illegal pipe tapping into my well, asterisk asterisk. Her face drained of color. I explained that I'd documented everything. Pressure drops, photos of the pipe, and now, video proof of her using stolen water. Then I showed her the second video. The sprinklers spewing manure across her party. Dead silence. Utility theft is a felony in our state. The penalties? Massive. Fines. Criminal charges. Restitution. I gave her two options. Wait for the police or start making things right immediately. She tried threats, then bargaining, then crocodile tears. I wasn't interested. I reported the theft to the water authority, called the non-emergency police line, and patched to my lawyer so she could hear the lawsuit details firsthand. The investigation was swift. Karen had stolen around 12,000 gallons of water over 6 months during a declared drought. She was fined $18,000 and had to pay for a full inspection of the neighborhood. Criminal charges were filed: theft, trespassing, and destruction of property. Worse still, evidence surfaced, video of her handyman digging the trench months ago. She'd paid him with a check. The civil suit was even more brutal. My lawyer tallied damages: well pump repairs, loss of water, emotional distress, asterisk asterisk backslash $35,000 in total, asterisk asterisk. Then things spiraled further. Once word spread, other residents came forward. Karen had issued bogus fines, selectively enforced rules, and abused her power. One neighbor had emails where she admitted targeting homes she personally didn't like. 3 weeks later, the HOA held an emergency meeting. Karen was unanimously removed as president. She stormed out in tears. The board banned her from ever serving again and launched an audit. It found more rot. Karen had used HOA funds for personal landscaping and charged them for water she'd stolen. The DA upgraded charges: embezzlement and fraud. 6 months later, Karen stood before a judge. She got 2 years probation asterisk asterisk for utility theft, 3 more years asterisk asterisk for embezzlement, backslash $20,000 in fines and restitution asterisk asterisk, 200 hours of community service asterisk asterisk. Ironically, with a water conservation group. She sobbed in court. Her husband sat stone-faced. As for me, my water pressure's back to normal. And every time I water my garden, I smile, knowing justice sometimes comes with a side of poetic fertilizer.